welcome to another edition of 5-1. My name's Nicola and I'm conscious I've only got 5 minutes, so I'm just going to share a couple of stories, read a Bible verse, and then I'll leave you to ponder my question. So my topic is generosity. What's the best gift you've ever received? I've received lots of amazing gifts in my life. One of the most memorable was actually from a member of our church. Hannah Playford, if you're watching, don't kill me for sharing this story. Hannah is amazing at giving gifts at the best of times, as many of you will know. But just before I had a baby, Hannah arrived with a hamper for us. And it wasn't full of baby grows and things, which obviously would have been very appreciated as well. But this was a gift for me. This was a hamper full of goodies for me to take to hospital for when I was going to have the baby. And it had a spritzer because it can get really hot in the ward. It had a moisturiser, it had lip balm, it had sweets and chocolate and snack bars. You see where I'm going with this? It had a book, really funny book. It had loads of really, really thoughtful things, and I took them all with me into hospital. And they really made a difference, and it really made me smile, and it really helped me through that time. And it wasn't the cost, although I'm sure it wasn't cheap. It was the fact that she'd gone to all that trouble. She'd made little labels to put on all the items. She'd really thought about what I might need. And that was what struck me. It was the extravagance and the kindness and the generosity that had gone into it that was really moving. So thank you, Hannah. That meant a lot. And then I compare that to something like the harvest festivals I went to when I was young, where people would always bring the cheapest flour, the cheapest pasta, the cheapest beans. They weren't Heinz, they were the cheapest. Now, I'm not knocking that because I use economy ranges all the time myself. And I know, obviously, and Matt would tell me, I'm sure, that any kind of flour is good flour. Whether you're in need or not, you appreciate what you have. But it was the attitude of it. I kind of knew that some of those people wouldn't have bought that for themselves. And I think even when I was quite young, that stayed with me, that they were happy to give it to somebody else, but they wouldn't have had that themselves. It wasn't extravagant, it wasn't over the top, although it was kind. And so that's what I'm talking about today, is really an abundance mentality, as John Mark Comer calls it. That extra mile that you go to. I had a lovely story just today of a lady who went into the Co-op in Harleston and her card got declined. And a lovely lady paid her bill so she could take her shopping home. And that's just a beautiful gesture. And that is what makes Christians stand out, I think. Not just Christians. I know loads of non-Christians who are also really kind and generous. But I know that that's how Jesus would want us to live as Christians. In Luke 11, verse 39 to 41, it says, "Then the Lord said to him, 'Now then, you Pharisees clean the outside of the cup, but inside you are full of greed and wickedness. You foolish people. Did not the one who made the outside make the inside also? But now, as for what is inside you, be generous to the poor, and everything will be clean for you.'" So be generous to the poor, and your soul will be cleansed. It's actually really good for you. There's a book called The Paradox of Generosity, where they've actually found all the health benefits of being generous. If I'm generous, it helps me, it cleanses my soul, as well as helping, hopefully, the recipients. It's kind of the opposite of Scrooge in the Christmas Carol, who was really grumpy, as we know. It's estimated that 25% of Jesus' teaching was about money. Now, why is that? Anybody who knows anything about Jesus knows he wasn't obsessed with money, and money wasn't even a big part of that culture in that way. But he talks a lot about money because he's talking about heart attitude. I believe he wanted us to be generous givers. he had an attitude of abundance. He had the view that God had given us this life as a gift, that everything was a gift in it, that creation was a gift from God. And if we live with an abundance mentality like that, that everything we have has been given to us by God and is an incredible gift, we can be more generous to others. We can give it away freely because we know it belongs to God and we know it will bring others joy. So I think that's sort of where I'm coming from today, really. My question is there an area of your life where you could be more generous? Discuss and be honest.